Welcome everyone, my name is Katherine. All right, so we're talking about diversity and inclusion. And I want to take you guys back to thinking about maybe the worst day at work you've ever had. Because that's when I learned that diversity and really embracing different ways of thinking could help you out. So the worst day of work I ever had, I just moved to Singapore. I'd been there about 4 weeks, over the honeymoon phase of really enjoying life at this point. I was sitting in my desk and I had one of those days, I was in business development, where my clients were hating me. They were getting at me, they were yelling at me on the phone. I don't know what was in the air, but they were just, if anybody in sales, business development, you know the feeling when your clients are really upset with you. Or worse, the clients that weren't upset with me weren't talking to me. They just weren't responding to any of my emails. On top of that, all of my contacts and other people that were wanting to know what my clients were up to were getting angry with me and frustrated with me, and it was just this sort of convoluted, frustrated problem that was going on. At that moment in time, my new boss decided to come and see how the new girl was doing. Now, I was working in a very Asian company, and I was sort of the token Western girl, Western person. So Andrew walks on over, he's like, "Hey Katherine, how's it going?" I think my face sort of told him everything. This is not a good time. I don't know what you're doing over here, why you're coming over here. He was like, "Okay, calm down." I was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Everyone hates me. Why? I don't know why you hired me. I don't know why I've moved here. I don't know I'm trying to work with these people. I don't get it." He's like, "Okay, calm down." I was like, "Okay, fine. He asked me to stand up, so I stood up. He then took my computer and kind of moved it slightly. He then took my keyboard and moved that slightly. He moved a few pictures on around. He kind of changed this and that, looked at it, and was like, "Okay, sit back down." I sat back down. He's like, "Everything's gonna be fine now." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "You're in a better feng shui position." I was like, "Andrew, I don't think that's quite gonna work." He's like, okay. He's like, "Stand up." I was like, "All right, here we go again." He's like, "Go outside, walk 10 minutes down to temple, go sit in the temple, go sit on the carpet, smell the incense, come back in half an hour." I was like, "All right, anything to get away from my clients at this point, whatever you want." So I did. So I got up, I went down to temple. Andrew gave me such a gift. When I got to the temple, I sat down on the carpet, I smelled the incense, I sort of let sort of the sounds around me come and sort of influence me. It reminded me of going to church when I was growing up, except for the fact that I got to sit on the ground instead of the pews, which was much more comfortable. And I got to sit there for 30 minutes. And I really, everything just kind of melted off of me. And we train ourselves to do this, but we kind of forget to when we're doing, stress management, anxiety management. And I go back to that time of going to that temple all the time when I'm stressed and anxious. But if I hadn't sort of thought about Andrew and gone to Singapore and embraced a new way of doing things, I would never have understood that there's another place that I could calm down and something else that I could embrace. What I want to talk about is how do you embrace diversity to help you become the best you that you can be, to maximize the you that you are. And it goes through 3 steps. First, it's awareness. It's being aware that there is another way to do something. And I know that sounds like common sense, but we still believe that our way is really the only way to do stuff. It then comes to appreciation. Understanding why they're doing it that way and how they're doing it that way. And then last is adaptation. It's changing your behaviors, changing yourself as much as you want to. You don't have to change it completely, but just whatever feels right to you. So there's 3 different steps to being able to kind of embrace a new way of thinking. But if I go back to awareness, we've talked a lot about diversity today, but diversity isn't just gender and race and ethnicity. Diversity is everything that is different from you. So it's somebody that's had a different upbringing, it's somebody that speaks a different language, it's somebody that's from a different culture, it's somebody that has a different accent, it's somebody that has a different hair color for all I know, it's somebody that is different from you. That's diversity. People that are innovative, people that are great leaders, people that think differently, go out of their way to find people like this, to find somebody that is very, very different from who they are. Why do they do that? Because if you surround yourself with people that are exactly like you, they're going to think exactly like you. If they think exactly like you and act exactly like you, then they have all the same weaknesses as you do. And we don't want to surround ourselves with people with the same weaknesses as us. We'd like people with different weaknesses and different strengths. So you don't have to rely on you being perfect. The best teams, I train high-performing teams, or I try to get teams to be highly performing. High-performing teams have diverse cultures on them, because then they have strengths and weaknesses in different areas. They have people that are really good at this, and people that are really good at this, and people that are interested in this, and people that are interested in something else. They have people that, you see, communication styles. They have people that can communicate differently. Some people like to be quite aggressive in their communication, some people like to gain more information, some people like to be more creative. You put all those different types of people together, and that's when you get teams that are really high performing, coming up with new ideas, and everybody's able to do what they're good at because somebody else is good at something else, and you just playing to your strengths. There's a problem with this sort of cheery world of getting along with people that are different from us. We see it in America right now, we see it in England right now, we see it basically all over the world. We have a really hard time working with people that are different from us, that are diverse from us. So how do you embrace and get to know somebody that is different from you? And it's very simple. You have to genuinely be interested in these people. We find it difficult to work with people that are not like us. It's easier to trust people that are like us. It just comes more natural to us. But if we can be interested in other people, then we can build up that trust and we can get us to understand each other. The first time I was really hit with diversity, I failed miserably at this being interested part. I'm going to introduce you to 21-year-old Katherine. 21-year-old Katherine was from Vanderbilt University, and she was still pretty much a Southern belle from Texas. We're talking much curlier than this hair, much more blonde as well. There's a lot more platinum going on, kind of out here. She wore pearls, she wore heels, she wore a lot of pastels, preferably pink.
Really included the photo.
Yeah, we'll get the photo next time. Yeah, so she was, pretty girly Southern girl here. Went to New York City for her first big job with PepsiCo. Very excited. Couldn't wait to get my colleagues. Kind of really looking forward to this job. I then met my colleague. She walks in the room. I saw combat boots, black jeans, black everything, honestly. So much piercing metal work going on. I didn't actually know what I was looking at. Purple hair and a lot of black eyeliner. She was a goth from New York City. We kind of had the same reaction when we saw each other going, are you kidding? Really, what? No, not gonna happen. It took us a while, I'm not gonna lie. We didn't like each other. We were called in together, told we needed to work better together. Our boss was like, you two, we're in advertising, get over it, start learning from each other, start being creative, accept each other. Wasn't happening. Fortunately, New York City, working in advertising, we spent so many nights together. We actually slept on the carpet a couple of times, and I remember my parents having to bring me clothes the next day because we had another presentation going on. It was pretty intense. So because of that, though, we kind of had to get to know each other. We kind of had to understand each other. She told me stories about her life in New York. I told her stories about my sorority life at Vanderbilt. We shared things, we understood each other. And I started to realize her work ethic was outstanding. She got things done. I told her what to do and she would do it. She told me what to do, I would do it. We started to appreciate each other's ability to work. And then we started to respect each other. We started to get to know each other. We started to open up to each other. And then we became such an awesome duo. And we started performing really, really well together. And our strengths and weaknesses crisscrossed, and we were able to rely on each other to get things done that I wasn't very good at, I could ask her to do, and vice versa. Now, our partnership didn't last forever. Eventually, we had to sort of split off into other departments and other teams. But the really cool thing about that New York experience was the last day we came into office early. I brought my clothes and she brought her clothes, and we switched. And we dressed each other up, and I walked around as a goth for a day, which is quite fun. The idea is, it's hard to embrace diversity. That's why we've had people talking all day about how do you do it. The benefits are obvious. You learn from other people, you experience new ways of doing things, you open your horizons, you find strengths that you didn't know or didn't know that you wanted to have, you look for other opportunities. It's amazing what you can do when you open up your mind, but we do have to open up our minds, and that can be scary. But if you're interested, and you find things that you have in common with somebody who looks very different from you, who acts very different from you. Or you find something interesting about somebody that looks and acts differently from you. Then you can build a bond and a trusting relationship and learn from each other. So, good luck.